And you'll see in just a moment that they're one of the best teams he's played all year. So it's going to be a fascinating game.
Well, no doubt, this Samo team is coming in off of the heels of a disappointing loss, but as you mentioned, they played tough in some tough ball games. El Toro, one of the better teams in the South or the CIF Southern section, he picked them to win it, and they are a good team, as you mentioned, but he said they played well. So it looks like it's going to be a real good contest tonight. If Santa Monica can do the things that Inglewood hasn't been able to do, and that's take care of the ball, they could probably win this ball game. But Inglewood is a hard-hitting team. You watch the numbers, 42 and 51. Those kids hit.
That's James Allen and Kenyon Wilson. We should also mention that Kenyon Wilson, along with Derek Hobson and some other kids who are on scholastic probation, are back with us this evening. We're glad to hear that, both scholastically and athletically. Renard and I got an opportunity to talk with both coaches. I spoke with Ted Caruso about his young Santa Monica team. I'm joined now by head coach from Santa Monica High School, Ted Caruso. And, Coach, a lot of different things going on from last year's blowout of Inglewood. They've got a little better talent, and you're a very young team this year.
Absolutely right. And I think added to that, we also, whenever we come to Sentinel Field, the game is always very, very close between Santa Monica and Inglewood. It really doesn't matter what happened the year before, and so we're looking for a very close football game tonight.
Your record is very similar to Inglewood's, 1-2-1, I believe, but you've had some very tough ball clubs. You played El Toro and Loyola, two very, very talented ball clubs.
Exactly. We feel that El Toro High School probably the best high school football team that we've played in the 17 years that I've coached at San High. And Loyola traditionally is strong. They're strong again this year. They play very sound, fundamental football. Both teams are great defensive teams. El Toro is just a tremendous offensive team.
Who can we look for in the white tonight?
Well, I think it'll be pretty much of a team effort. We're a team of no stars, and everybody has to contribute equally for us to be successful.
Who do you think, or is there one or two players that you feel that you have to stop tonight on the Sentinel Club in order to win the ballgame?
Well, we feel that the running backs are very strong. The thing that concerns us both offensively and defensively is their team speed. And, it's evident on defense when they move and spin around, so we're concerned about that. But certainly their quarterback and their two running backs we're very much concerned about.
Try to handicap the Bay League for us. I know it's kind of ridiculous to do so early, but give us a little, your opinion on what the league shapes up to be this year.
All right, I would say that right now Hawthorne High School would have to be considered the favorite in the league. They had a very, very, very difficult preseason schedule, and they were very successful. I saw Lusinger play 2 weeks ago, and they look to be a pretty strong football team right now. My understanding is they had some players that were injured, and they're back at full strength. Beverly Hills, we don't know an awful lot about. They had a coaching change, and I believe they have a change in offensive style. We'll find out next week.
All right, well, good luck, and good luck tonight and in the Bay League.
Thank you very much.
Coach Ted Caruso from Santa Monica High School. Renard, you got an opportunity to talk with Coach Echols. Give us a little preview of what he said.
Well, Coach Echols basically is concerned about his offense, taking care of the ball, as we mentioned, shooting themselves in the foot, turning it over, big penalties, holding, and things of that nature. I had a chance to talk with him, and here's what he was talking about. And Coach, it's been an up-and-down season this year. Let's talk about tonight. You're facing a tough Santa Monica team who's coming in off of a loss. They, too, need a big win tonight, and this is the first of the Bay League, to begin the Bay League. What have you got to do to win?
Stop shooting ourselves in the foot, cut down on our mistakes, penalties, and fumbles.
That's been a problem this year for your team. I'm sure you've worked on that at practice and talked to them, but how do you get them to execute it?
Pray real hard.
So what do you expect this game to be like tonight?
Well, I think we've got a good shot at it. I think we have a real good shot. Just like I said before, if we can keep the ball off the ground, we'll have fun.
Well, it's going to be a hard-hitting game. Both teams have been known to be hard hitters. We've seen your team, a defensively minded team, have been really applying the leather, but haven't been able to get the points up. Is that something you've worked on this week?
Yeah, we talked about a little discipline. Offside penalties, clipping penalties, holding penalties, and stop drives for us. And we worked on it this week, and we hope they understand what we're talking about.
All right, so you've heard the strategies from both coaches. We're going to scurry up into the booth. We're just about set to get ready for the Bay League opener for the Inglewood Sentinels. They're taking on Santa Monica tonight. Again, for Renard Ritz, I'm Ralph Bailey. Be prepared now for Inglewood High School football.
It's USC Sports Magazine for the serious Trojan fan. No matter what the sport, we've got interviews, highlights, and inside information. You'll jump for joy. So join host Tom Kelly for USC Sports Magazine only on Prime Ticket.
The following is an exclusive Continental Cable Vision of Inglewood sports presentation. From the Stadium of the Stars in Inglewood, it's the Prep Game of the Week, brought to you by Quick and Split, with 5 convenient locations in the greater Los Angeles area, where you will find freshness you can see and quality you can taste. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ralph Bailey, along with Bernard Rick, and tonight the Santa Monica Vikings take on the Inglewood Sentinels in the home season opener of Bay League action. And Bernard, should be an exciting game. It was a blowout last year at Santa Monica. However, the Sentinels are much improved. And as Ted Crusoe told us during the pregame show, it's a very young team coming in here for the Vikings.
One of the things that the coach from Santa Monica also told us is that for some reason, every time they come to Inglewood, they have a hard time with this Inglewood team. They say the score is always close, and it makes for a real interesting contest. I had a chance to talk with a couple of the defensive coaches, especially Coach Rising, and he told me that one of the things that, he really likes about this defense is that they work hard, and he said he likes it, and that makes him a little more appreciative about the whole group. And I think that's one of the things Coach Echols is exceptionally proud of is his defense. They're going to have their hands full tonight. This Santa Monica team needs to put up some points.
There you see the captains for both the Vikings and the Sentinels. That's Derek Hobson, Tinsley Trawick, Valonzio King, number 62. And now as they move, we can't see the far fourth captain. I believe it's James Allen, number 42, is the fourth captain. And waiting for the ceremonial coin flip to determine who will receive. Let's hear from the Inglewood Sentinel Marching Band in tonight's national anthem. The Inglewood Sentinel Marching Band with tonight's national anthem as we get set to get underway for the opening of Bay League action here. The Sentinels come in here 1-3-1, and the Vikings come in 1-2-1. Both teams have one tie.
Well, this should be a real interesting contest. As you mentioned, both teams coming in with a tie and 2 losses. One thing about this Santa Monica team, we talked with Coach Caruso, and he talked about Larry Kennedy, number 5, who's a junior quarterback. He says that, both of his quarterbacks are young. That's one of the reasons they haven't put up a lot of points, he feels, but he thinks tonight they could get on track.
Jonathan Rousseau, we assume, will once again be the cornerstone to the Sentinel offense, along with Lindsay Taylor and Tinsley Trawick in the backfield.
Well, Lindsay had a big run last week, 89-yard run against a tough Sarah team, and I think maybe Taylor has come out of his slump. We've been wondering all season where he's been. We might need to keep our eye on him tonight. Young man is number 4, Lindsay Taylor, so keep your eye on him.
Well, it was a point that we made repeatedly in the 6-6 tie to Bourbon, or not Bourbon Day, but a 6 tie 2 weeks ago, that we didn't see him in the offense. We were a bit surprised prize. James Allen falls back deep for the Sentinels. They'll be receiving, along with number 41, Joseph Barrett.
Looks like number 64 is the kicker for them.
Garrett and Allen are deep, and we are about to get underway as the referees are going to confer at midfield.
And Ralph, as you had mentioned too, this is the first, or I should say, league opener for both of these teams. This is indeed a big game, as Coach Caruso alluded to, in that it is the first game, and this is how your season is pretty much determined in your first league play game.
League is going to be very tough, as both coaches noted. Hawthorne and losing. There's some very, very qualified ball clubs. There are 3 teams in the top 10 in the Division 7 in the Bay League alone. So it's going to be a very, very hard road for both of these ball clubs throughout the year.
Well, our officials at the 50-yard line conferring, as you mentioned, the head referee tonight is James Joseph, line judge Mike Terrell, back judge Bob Heitzelman, and there you see James Joseph talking with Coach Echols. Field judge Charles Finneson, and the umpire Walt Roberts. So that's our officiating crew, and already they're at work.
All right, let's move down that lane. We're not sure what the delay is. We remember, however, 2 weeks ago that we couldn't get started for almost 20 minutes because no doctor or ambulance was present. I don't see an ambulance, and I'm uncertain to who the doctor is, and that may be the case right now. We're waiting to see.
You might be right, Ralph. There isn't a doctor in the house that I know of, and that might be holding it up, but no, it looks like the referee is just about ready to signal the start of tonight's ball game, so apparently that must not be the case.
All right, well, apparently the referees have worked things out, apparently. They are still talking with Coach Echols down on the sidelines right at about the 50-yard line. However, they've put the kicker in kicking formation, so apparently
and again,
we're about to get started.
And again, we have another holdup as the head judge, referee James Joseph, has come back over, and he is talking with Coach Echols down there on the sideline. I sure would like to be a fly in that conversation and know exactly what's going on.
So apparently they're talking about, we're being told from the truck that the opposite team is a bit upset or feel a bit slighted, the fact that they don't have headsets to communicate with their coaches up in the booth. So apparently the Inglewood Sentinels will have to cut that communication off to make it even. But nonetheless, we're ready to get started here in the first game of Bay League action. It's James Allen and Joseph Garrett back deep. And we're underway. It'll be Garrett at about the 15 to the 20. He's got a hole, but he's met rudely at about the 27-yard line. Might have been the kicker, number 54, Brandon Bildering.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It was number 54, Bildering, and he was there to meet him, as you mentioned, right at number, it looks like about the 28.5. We'll mark it at the 29, maybe.
Here come the Sentinels. We'll set the backfield for you. Taylor Tinsley Trawick. You know, a couple of weeks ago I kept calling him Taylor Trawick, and I want to apologize to the young man and his family. Tinsley Trawick is the quarterback as they start with a wishbone formation early. On 1st and 10, they give it to the second man through up the right side. Lunges forward. I believe that is number 1, Michael Benjamin. There you see it.
So Benjamin got the start tonight in the backfield. One of the things that Coach Echols, I'm sure, is trying to get someone back there that can take care of the ball. As we alluded to, that's been one of the trademark problems of this Inglewood team, is taking care of it right away. We are looking for the guy who played so much last week, Russo, and I'm sure we'll see him before the game is over, maybe.
A new formation now for the Sentinels, something we haven't seen. They go out of a shotgun on 2nd and 7. Trawick quickly gets it away, and it'll be incomplete. Intended in the flash there for Lindsay Taylor.
And again, it looked like number 54, Bill Durain, in there. He got a hand on that ball and deflected it. That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and incoming is number 39. There's that kid who had a big game a couple of weeks ago, Jonathan Rousseau.
Let's don't get started now.
Rousseau then, I'm sorry.
Jason Butler checks out of the ball game while Rousseau comes in. He's the lone setback, a slot right. They fake the quick pop. Got some time, he gets away, but he's flattened. That might have been picked. They're going to call it incomplete.
A lot of pressure in the backfield there as number 9 had broken inside the defense or I should say inside the offense, John Gura, who got a hand on that ball as well. And Trawick wasn't able to roll out deep enough to get that pass off. Thus is going to bring up a big 4th down.
4th and 7. It'll force a punting situation for the Sentinels on their first drive. 10:37 remaining. We're just started here at the Stadium of the Stars.
Are you a little surprised Coach Echols came out and tried 2 passes in that series?
I was, and I was going to mention that I wish we had seen a little bit of that during the 6-6 ball game 2 weeks ago.
No.
The kick is almost blocked. In fact, it might have been deflected. It's not going to reach midfield. It's going to fall dead in Sentinel territory, and the Vikings will take over there with outstanding field position at the 42-yard line of the Sentinels.
Well, indeed, the pressure from the Santa Monica Vikings, as they were able to break through that offensive line, they got a chance to look like they may have gotten a hand on that ball, Ralph.
Tough to tell up here. We're a good distance away from the ball, but it looked like it was either just a horrible kick or he, in fact, did get a hand on it.
We're up in the Stadium of the Stars.
Where we can almost touch the Stars from where we are. The Vikings come out in an I formation. On 1st and 10, a quick pitch. That's Sean Smith. James Allen wraps him up there. Pick him up about 5 for Smith.
That's Sean Smith, number 2. Coach Caruso told us that he was going to be an intricate part of his ball game tonight. Well, Mr. Smith, meet Mr. Allen. And you'll be seeing him a lot tonight as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He loves to hit. Brings up a 2nd and 6 for the Vikings. That's number 5, Larry Kennedy, the quarterback for the Vikings. Out of the eye. Quick pop. They set up a screen in the flat. That's Tim Casuro, and he lunges forward. He's got a 1st down. He's all the way down close to the 25-yard line. And that's, Tim Casuro, and it's got to be a relative of the head coach, I would.
No doubt it's relative. We'll have to try to see if we can't get a definite word on it, but I'd just about be willing to venture it's his son.
Been coaching at Santa Monica. Very young man, but he's been coaching there for 17 years.
Didn't show it in his face, and I'm sure it's hanging around with these young kids that's doing it.
1st and 10 for the Vikings. That's Smith, I believe, but he's wrapped up there.
Look like number 50 and number 55 getting out of that pile. That's Chris Morganfield. And that's a number that we haven't had a chance to call a lot this year. And perennial All-CIF All-American. And indeed, he was touted as being one of the hottest linebackers in this league. And we're still waiting on him to come around, and no doubt he may rise tonight.
Leon Brown was in the tackle as well for the Sentinels. On 2nd and 10, they go with the option. That's Kennedy. He tucks it up the middle. And he might have been face masked. There's no flag on the play. But he is very close to a Santa Monica 1st down.
Allen and Hardin in on the tackle. Number 73, Jerome Hardin, a big 6'4", 275-pounder. Hardin is one of those guys. I had a chance to talk with one of the coaches, Coach Eric Johnson, as well as Coach Rising, and they were telling me to keep my eye on this kid Hardin. They think a lot of him, and we've been calling his name often and a lot, and I was telling some of the players that it'd be nice to give the trophy tonight to one of the defensive or offensive linemen, so they promised me they're going to work extra hard at it.
Kennedy's run came up short. It'll leave him with about 2 for the 1st down. 3rd and 2 situation for Santa Monica. However, Coach Echols wants to take a timeout and talk with his ball club. You see him there. But again, we've talked about this time and time again. I really have got to question some of these timeouts early in the ball game. You need these late in the first half. Even, if you're down or to get into a situation where the 30-second clock is running out, you need these timeouts. I don't know, really, is there too much you can tell him on 3rd and 3 right now that's going to change the situation?
Unless he really is seeing something that his defense is doing here that he is really concerned with, I don't understand the timeout either. But both coaches went out and talked with their teams. Coach Caruso is coming back on the field again to talk with Kennedy, the man that has the controls of his offense. And now Coach Echols sends his team back out. So let's see exactly what they may have been talking about. And indeed, I think Coach Echols may be a little concerned.
All right, here come the Vikings. 3rd and 2, a big play. 6:23 remaining in the first quarter. Out of the eye, that's Larry Kennedy under center. He's going to try the quick pop, and he threw it away. Incomplete. Pass was intended for number 16, Tim Kutero. Bring up a 4th down situation and a very interesting call here for the Vikings. I'm not sure what their kicking game was like, but if high school game is as it normally is, I've got to assume they're going to go for this.
Well, indeed, Coach Caruso is probably pulling out no stops here deep in the Inglewood territory. You would think he pretty much would go for it, and this is a big 4th down.
They are. Kennedy with Rashad Ivy in the backfield. That's Kennedy. He's got the 1st down and more. He's going to score. Touchdown, Vikings.
I tell you, Ralph, you would have thought that play, evidently the whole defensive line thought it was coming up the middle, but they strung it out in the option, and Kennedy, right around that left guard and tackle pulling for him, was able to walk into the end zone.
Walk is exactly the correct verb there, Renard. It was a cakewalk for Larry Kennedy. A 16-yard jaunt for Kennedy as the Vikings draw first blood. They go up 6-0 with 6:12 remaining here in the first quarter. The extra point is up, and it is good. So with 6:10 remaining here in the first quarter, the Sentinels trail early 7-0, and that may not bode well for Inglewood. They are not really a come-from-behind team.
Not at all, and well, Coach Echols has showed us in the first possession that he was going to put the ball up. He may be forced to put it up a little bit more than he had hoped tonight if he finds himself down too far early. Because as you mentioned, this is not a team that has showed that they can come back. And indeed, if they don't stay close early, it could be a long night for the Sentinel team.
Big defensive breakdown on that option play. The key to the option defensively is that the defensive end, regardless of what the quarterback does, has to nail him on his butt. Even if he pitches the ball, knock him down, make him worried, so the next time he runs that, he knows, hey, Ralph Bailey, defensive end's going to be there. Whether you pitch it or not, I'm going to knock you down.
Indeed, the right defensive end for this Sentinel team somehow got his signals crossed up. And as we look at the play, it looks like it may have been someone can't make it out, but it looks like they just thought that everything was going to go up the middle, but Kennedy went around.
The kick is up. It's a line drive to Allen. He takes it on one hop at about the 15. Cuts across field. He's now in the midsection and breaks the tackle, and he's got some room. He's got one man to beat, but he's dragged down from behind at about the 47-yard line. But an outstanding return for James Allen, giving the Sentinels good field possession on their second possession of the ballgame.
We said we'd call this kid's name a lot tonight. There he is, number 42, James Allen. He goes both ways, offense and defense, and was our MVP winner just a couple of weeks ago. We'll see a lot more of that kid. He can play ball.
Well, it's a bit self-indulgent, but we questioned about a month ago why he wasn't involved more with the offense. But you're right, they have incorporated him, and rightfully so. Here come the Sentinels on their second possession, and look like a mix-up in the handoff.
I don't know if we've got a fumble at the bottom of that pile or not, but it looked like Trawick decided to pull it out again at the last moment as he had faked it in the line there. And apparently he did decide to keep it and picked up maybe one.
The option is a difficult thing to defense against because it is it's all about assignments. The defensive end's got to take the quarterback, thus allowing the cornerback to come up and take the running back. And it's difficult because kids want to go after the ball, regardless of what their assignment is.
Exactly, Ralph. And that's where the discipline comes in. And that's what Coach Echols said he would talk about this week.
Out of the
Inside
bone.
handoff.
They give it up the middle. I believe that was Rousseau. We'll see as they uncover. No, it's Jason Butler. Pickup of about 4 for Butler. They're
Butler
into Viking territory. It'll bring up a 3rd down and passing situation, however, for Inglewood.
Butler's another one of those junior running backs that's had an outstanding year on both sides of the ball, playing both offense and defense. We've alluded to, I think he had a big hit a couple of weeks ago as well.
3rd and 4. That's Trawick. He's got a 1st down if he keeps it. He does, and he's got the 1st down. Nice job of running there by Tinsley Trawick. He's run out of bounds at about the 36-yard line, and a big 1st down for Inglewood.
That's the first down for Inglewood, and indeed it was a big one. But you know, I like Trawick when he runs the ball. As we've talked about in weeks past, he's a big kid, 200 pounds, and he looks like he should be a fullback. But indeed, he has the ability to run. We've just had some suspects in his arm, and we've seen him throw well in the last couple of weeks. Maybe that's why Coach Echols is deciding to give him a little more range and freedom to throw it, and we might see a little bit more of that tonight. Good shot of that Inglewood huddle there.
I believe they want to put some more time on the clock. I'm not sure. We're going to wait and see. All right, so here come the Sentinels on 1st and 10, 6:07 remaining. They come to full wishbone backfield. They give it to the Taylor off the left side. Pickup of about 7 for Lindsay Taylor.
Good hard running there by Lindsay Taylor. We've wondered where he's been for a couple of weeks, but looks like he's finally started to settle down at that tailback position. And indeed, he is a talented kid. Good to see him running the ball well tonight early.
Pickup of 6. It'll bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Sentinels. Ball marked right at the 30-yard line.
And the wishbone.
Again out of the bone. Off the left side, the ball's on the ground.
Well, I think Inglewood got it, Ralph. Let's hold our fingers. Yeah, number 3 getting up Hobson. 5'11", 177-pound senior with the awareness to get on that ball early.
And you hate to see that happen, even despite the fact that they got the ball back, because once a team that fumbles begins to fumble, it gets contagious, and you begin to think about it, and they come back and haunt you later in the ball game.
Yeah, if I were Coach Echols, maybe now is where I'd have spent my first time out.
3rd and 4 with Rousseau. Quick pop. They're going deep. He's got Benjamin. No, it's Derek Hobson. Touchdown Sentinels on a quick up pattern. Nice job by Derek Hobson. He had man-to-man coverage on the outside. They faked going up the middle to the pop man and went long for Hobson for 6.
Ralph, that pass was perfect by Trawick. As you saw, he strung it out, led the receiver, and all Hobson had to do was run under and get the ball. Outstanding pass by Trawick. And as I mentioned, he's been throwing the ball better, and Coach Echols was excited on the sidelines as well after the completion and touchdown.
It was a great call. Coach Echols beginning to open it up a little bit as they're going to go for 2. They spread it out.
This could be a big play, Ralph. Uh-oh, I think
Quick pitch to Rousseau. He's got 3 yards to get. He spins, but he's not going to get it. Boy, that's a big decision there. You're just beginning the ball game, and 7-7 tie. Hey, I'm happy with that, but instead they went for 2. But who cares if you're up 8-7 in the first quarter?
Yeah, I don't know that Coach Echols down there hugging Trawick on the sidelines. I wish we could have got a shot at that. But nevertheless, indeed, as you mentioned, Ralph, that could be a costly play there, missing that golden opportunity to tie the ball game up. Maybe Coach Echols has a little suspect in his kicker.
Well, I was just about to say, in defense of Coach Echols, the ball game that, several ball games that we've seen, Guillermo Diaz has been unable to get the ball up in the air. He's hit line drives that weren't necessarily blocked, but were just line drives that never got up off the ground. And the defenders were able to block the ball without getting up off the ground. However, I saw Diaz kicking before the game, and he was fairly consistent from short range. No, he's not going to kick a 30-yard field goal to win it for you, but I think he's capable of hitting an extra point, which is about a 20-yard shot. But nonetheless, the Sentinels go for the 2 and come up about a yard short. Nonetheless, it is 7-6. The Vikings lead on a 22-yard pass from Tinsley Trawick to Derek Hobson.
Gonzalez with the kick.
The line drive will be fielded at about the 10. I believe that's Kennedy. He's up the middle to the 20, the 25. He's got some room now. He may go. He's in midfield. One man to beat. And he's taken down there with an outstanding tackle. Delonzio King saved the touchdown.
Game, or I should say, touchdown-saving tackle there by Alonzo King, number 62. Outstanding play as his senior stood there and would not be faked out by Kennedy. And we see, I asked Coach Caruso who had to have a big ball game, and he said his whole team had to have a big game. But indeed, I think he puts a lot of confidence in this kid by the name of Larry Kennedy.
A penalty will bring the kick back, the return back. We'll wait and see from the officials. Again, our officials tonight, the referee is James Joseph. Our line judge is Mike Terrell. And he informs us that it's blocking below the waist against the Vikings. Bring it way back. They'll mark the ball at about the 14-yard line. That's a devastating penalty.
What a break.
Santa Monica.
What a break for Coach Echols and his Inglewood Sentinel team. We are so used to seeing that break go the other way against them. I'm sure Coach Echols has got to feel good about, for a change, it gets to go against the Vikings. I'm sure Coach Caruso's not too excited, though.
4:23 remaining in the first quarter. Here come the Vikings again out of the eye. They give it to the second man. That's Sean Smith. Picks up about 3 on the play. James Allen in on the tackle for the Sentinels.
And that's about the third tackle that Allen had tonight thus far. And if we were to keep track, I'm sure it would be well over the numbers when this kid, as we mentioned, is just a fine player.
He's a football player in the sense that may sound ignorant, but in the sense, the true sense of the word. He likes to hit. He likes the contact. He enjoys that. And to be a successful football player, you've got to enjoy hitting.
I'm talking to one of the coaches. They say his little brother is a little shy.
Quick pop. It's complete. That's number 22, Sheldon Philippe Giad. He is up to about the 25-yard line.
Nice break inside by Philip Guide as he was able to cut across and receive the ball. And that's one of the things you like to see a receiver do, is come to the ball. Outstanding play and connection by Kennedy and Sheldon Philip Guide.
All right, you going to go with Guide? I'm going to, since it's Sheldon Philippe, I thought it was French. You went with a little 10th grade French on you there. Giad, but I guess it is Guide. Vikings come out with a slot right. That's Philip, I believe it's Giad. We're going to find out at halftime. They set a man in motion. They're passing. Big rush by the Sentinels. Kennedy eludes it. He is back to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to pick something up on it, and he's run out of bounds there by number 51. I believe that is Kenyon Wilson.
As well as number 3, Derek Hobson in there. Both to run out Kennedy out of, what is that, about the 30-yard line.
And you see Kennedy there hobbling back to the huddle. He does not look 100%, and he may be coming out of the ballgame. You see one of the referees there talking with him. Yeah, they're going to send him off the field, at least for a play, and let him take a look and see what's going on.
Coach Caruso sending in his other junior quarterback, number 9, I believe it is. That's John Gura. So indeed, this could be a big, big turn of events here for Santa Monica as well as Inglewood. Let's see if Inglewood can take advantage of it.
Zach Nishimura is checked into the ballgame now at the quarterback spot. They go with a slot left and stay in the eye.
I apologize, Gura and Nishimura.
DeMarco Scott in motion. They're going to pass. The left-hander pops it up. It's live. It's picked off. It's picked off in Sentinel territory inside the 20. They'll take over there. Ooh, that is a questionable call. I guess you're thinking maybe you can catch that Sentinel defense off guard, but you bring in this kid. He's got a jacket on probably, sitting over there on the bench. And the first play from scrimmage, you're going to have him put it up in the air. Very questionable call, and it will come back to haunt the Vikings as the Sentinels will take over at about the 17-yard line. Check that. The 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 there.
I believe that was Chris Morganfield that intercepted that ball. James Brown, I'm told, intercepted that ball.
First and 10, quick pitch to Rousseau. He's got a lot of room to the outside. Puts his head down, is dragged out of bounds close to the 15-yard line. Pickup of about 7 on the play for Rousseau.
Jim ramming number 10 there to tackle Rousseau. But a nice pickup on first down for the Sentinels. And now with an excellent chance to strike again here, Ralph, and score here, and that missed after point, or I should say point attempt won't look so bad.
2 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. 7-6, the Sentinels trail. They go with a slot right, wingback right. They're going to pass. Penalties on the play. Trawick is going to complete it, however. He's got a first down, but I believe that penalty will go against the Sentinels.
Trawick looked like he wanted to drop back and find a receiver in the end zone, but it didn't look like anyone was back there, so he just tucked it away and headed for the sidelines. Looked like it might be a big pickup for all naught. They may march it back.
We'll wait and see on the penalty.
It's generally in the land of where they say holding, but yeah. No, it's illegal procedure against the Sentinels.
Nonetheless, it'll wipe out the first down and move them back to about, I believe they'll mark it at about the original, near the original line of scrimmage, which was the 22. They'll place it down right at the 20-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Sentinels. Good time to try to hook up with Hobson in that right corner. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
I tried again. It looked so well, but you can tell the defense is settling in on that near side over there. Yeah, they're not going to let that happen this time.
They're not going with single coverage. They're going to the other side where they are going with single coverage, but it's picked. No, it's knocked down. That was Nishimura, the quarterback who just checked into the ball game, taking Kennedy's defensive assignment. And had he not come over to help out, Anthony Cawthorn might have had a touchdown. There you see Anthony.
Indeed, it was an excellent call, but the pass was a little too much on a string. He didn't get it up so that the receiver could run under it again as he did on the other side just a few moments ago. But indeed, that double coverage had a lot to do with that ball being incomplete.
And another one of those timeouts that really makes me at least shake my head. You've got 1:17 remaining in the quarter, in the first quarter, and you're already down to one timeout. Now, if the 30-second clock is running out or any type of emergency situation and you have to take a timeout, you're out of timeout, and you can forget a 2-minute drill before the half ends.
Well, indeed, Coach Echols must feel that this is a big down and that he must get some points on this trip. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, should he have the need for a timeout toward the end of the first half, this could come back to haunt him.
Well, I got to disagree, and it's very easy, again, for me to do so up here. I'm not in the trenches, and I'll recognize that point, but I've never, in my many years of football, seen a game won or lost in the first quarter. You can set a trend early in the ball game. There's no question about that. Let's don't give away the importance of first action play and setting off on the right foot. But as far as 3rd and 9 being the play that decides the ball game, I don't think so.
Well, there you see Coach Echols coming off of the field. I'm sure he had some very explicit instructions for his team. Let's see what he had to tell them.
On 3rd and 9, they come out with a wide formation. They sent Hobson and Lindsay Taylor out left, and I believe that's Jason Butler out right. They go with a crossing pattern, but something looked a little askew there as they had 3 Sentinel receivers. You see them all there. That's Taylor and Hobson and Benjamin all in the same area, and that is something that whenever you see a lot of receivers in the same area, something's wrong, because the more receivers you have in one area, the more defenders you have in one area. You don't want that offensively.
I think Coach Echols was looking for the quick hit to one of the wide outs and hoping that the other one would have been able to maybe do a little blocking and pick up the first down, if not the touchdown. But indeed, it backfired as the pass was a little low, and unfortunately, no one was there to get it.
The incomplete will bring up a 4th and 8. The Sentinels will have to go with it, go for it, with Butler and Taylor spread left. That's Trawick. He's got it tucked, and he has broken a tackle, and he's still on his feet. He is very close to a first down. They might have to bring in the chains. They marked him down at about the 12, and that's apparently where he needed to get, but I think they're going to have to bring in the chains on this one.
I think they may have gotten that first down, Ralph. They are going to mark it.
They are.
Inside the 10, looks like. So Trawick, nice field, I should say good seeing the field, rather, as he was able to cut back against the grain and just one tackle away from scoring.
Trawick did get all the way down inside the 10 to the 9. It'll be first and goal there. The only bad news for the Sentinels, they can't pick up a first down without scoring. They dropped to 6 with 1:01 remaining here in the first quarter. 7-6, Santa Monica leads here at the Stadium of the Stars. The clock is moving. They come out with Rosal, the lone setback. Butler split right. Hobson, Taylor, right. That's Taylor, but again, it's incomplete. They're trying to get the quick pop, but they tried rush from the Vikings.
As you mentioned, Ralph, they tried it again. Jim Ramming, number 10, I think, got a piece of that ball. Looked like he may have deflected it, kept it away from the receiver, and thus it fell harmlessly to the ground. But looks like Coach Echols has, I tell you, he's thrown the ball tonight more than we've seen all season.
Yeah. 2nd and 10 now, 51 seconds remaining in the quarter.
It's been a long first quarter because of all the passes.
Yeah. Hobson and Taylor join each other on the right side. Jason Butler at the left hand of your screen. They go to Butler. It's complete. No, it's stripped away. He had his hands on it. That's the ball Jason Butler should catch. No, check that. I believe that is Jason Butler.
Yeah, that's number 23. And on ours,
no, that's Anthony Cawthorn. It is 27.
Oh, I'm sorry. The defenders on that play, again, was Sheldon Phillip Guide, I say, and number 8, Zach Nishimura, who came in to replace Kennedy at the quarterback position. One thing I do like about this high school ball, the kids get to play both ways, offense and defense.
3rd and 10 now. The Sentinels come out in more of a running mode. They come with the wishbone. But they're going to throw it. Trawick had some time. He can't find anybody. He dumps it away. Oh, that was intentional grounding.
That's intentional grounding.
Well, we might get a roughing the passer. I'm not sure whether it will be intentional grounding or roughing the passer. Trawick took a rude shot as he delivered the ball, but there wasn't a Sentinel receiver within 10 yards of him getting that ball away. We'll see. We'll wait.
I have to believe it was intentional grounding as Trawick threw that ball out there. I was looking for someone, but there was no one. And indeed, I believe it's going to come back against the Sentinels. No, he's going to pick up his flag. So no penalty, as he did pick up his flag, looks like.
That had to have been an intentional pass, intentional downing the ball by Trawick, because apparently when he conferred with the other officials, they said no, number so-and-so was here, because I can't imagine them talking him out of a roughing the passer penalty, so we'll only assume that was intended to be an intentional grounding penalty. Guillermo Diaz has checked into the ball game now. The ball will be spotted at about the 17-yard line. That'll make it a 27-yard effort, but I don't believe the Sentinels got it away in time.
I think we've got a delay of game penalty here.
Well, that would change things dramatically. It would move it from a 27 to a 32-yard field goal. No penalty.
Evidently the clock did not start, I think, and they were hoping or expected for it to. So now they have a fresh 30 seconds to get it off.
Diaz can hit this. He just has a tendency to hit the ball a little flat on the ground. They won't get it away. Trawick will be down right there at about the 20-yard line, and the Sentinels can't get anything going with that kicking game. That ball was dribbled, literally rolled.
It didn't snap from the center.
Didn't get 5 yards off the ground.
Now, there's a good shot of the quarterback, Trawick, who did all he could to keep the ball in the possession of the Sentinels. And there, Coach Echols looks like he's getting on the center. That's number 78 for Martin Gonzalez.
So the Sentinels turn the ball over once again. They still trail 7-6 as we come to the end of the first quarter. Here come the Vikings. Out of the eye, I believe that is still... No, Kennedy's back in the ballgame. He pitches it to Smith, who lunges forward for about a yard. Good to see Larry Kennedy, though, back in the ballgame.
I think Kennedy is probably too tough of a cookie not to have come back in this ball game, and no doubt I'm sure he's very important to this offense of Santa Monica. Coach Echols down on the sideline, still upset with his center, number 78, Gonzalez. And again, Coach Echols calls his entire defense over as time runs out here in the first period.
All right, so we'll be right back right after this commercial message for second quarter action. The Sentinels trail 7-6 to Santa Monica Vikings. We'll be right back after this commercial message. Stay with us here on KICT Channel 30, your station for Inglewood Television.
In today's society, as parents, it is not enough to just give your child food, clothing, and shelter. It is also important that you take a close interest in your child's life, what they're doing, who their friends are. Let your child know how important they are to you. Be involved, become more involved, so that they don't have to fill that void with alcohol and drugs. I'm Barry White.
Hey, did you hear about Alan?
Yeah.
You know, the guy was a heart attack just waiting to happen.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah. Didn't he have a kid?
I think so. The scariest part about heart disease is all the little things you leave behind. You can help prevent it. We can tell you how.
All right, there you see the Inglewood Marching Band. Oh, I'm sorry, some of the cheerleaders and flag girls for the Sentinels. There's the band on the left-hand side. As we get set. I'm sorry, Renard, go right ahead.
The fans have been improving in the stands, and one thing we do like to see is the support of the parents and residents in Inglewood for the local high schools. We want to continue to encourage them to come out to the ball game.
2nd and 9. First play of the second quarter. They're passing. A little screen. It's complete. That's number 84, Damon Ernst. He's got a first down. Is all the way across the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 41. It'll be a 1st and 10 there for the Vikings.
That's the first pass that we've seen by Kennedy this evening as he connects with Ernst. Good throw as the tight end came out. He looked like a tight end. He drifted out about 10 yards, turned around. The ball was there waiting on him, and he knew what to do with it as he picked up the first down.
I think you can shape your entire offense, and if I were ever a football coach, I would shape my entire passing offense on plays exactly like that. Very difficult for a linebacker to get out and cover a kid on a quick stand, pop type pattern. Got a first down for the Vikings. That's Sean Smith, and he is strangled there by number 50. That's Leon Brown on the tackle for the Sentinels.
Nice play by Leon Brown as he was there to meet the ball carrier and flung him to the ground, as you mentioned, Ralph. This Inglewood defense is nobody's patsy. They are a tough, hard-hitting team.
Yeah. They enjoy hitting, and that is the key, the cornerstone to any solid defense. 2nd and 9 now for the Vikings. Sheldon Phillips-Yard split left. They give it off to the second man. That's number 4, Rashad Ivy. He was lucky if he got back to the original line of scrimmage. He might have lost a yard there. It'll bring up 3rd and about 9.
And again, it was Brown and Morganfield in there to stop the ball carrier. We've been calling Brown's name a lot tonight as he was the kid who got the interception. And indeed, he's had a big impact in this ball game thus far.
Possible passing situation for the Vikings. Kennedy not afraid to throw it. They have a rolling offense. They send Tim Kusaro, split right, and they go to the slot right. That's Kennedy. He's got some time. He's got a man wide open, but it's incomplete. Intended there for Philippe Giad. Bring up a 4th down and probable punting situation. Yes, here come the punting team for the Vikings.
Good defenses stand there by the Sentinels as they're able to hold this Santa Monica Viking team away from another first down. And indeed, we've seen this defense arise on occasions when they've had to. And thus far, they've been playing outstanding this evening, except for the exception of the one score.
Michael Benjamin and Kenyatta Morgan. No, it's just Morgan that falls back deep for the punt. The kick is away. It's a line drive that Morgan will not field. Time and time again, we talk about feeling that ball, and it rolls from the 20 all the way down to about the 6-yard line. First and 10 there for the Sentinels. But again, we've mentioned you've got, as the punt returner, it's all right if you can't feel the ball and run with it. But you've got to feel the football. Even if it's in a crowd, you've still got the ability to fair catch the ball. They can't get within a yard. If he does so, it's first and 10 from the 20. Instead, he begs off, and the ball now is at the 6-yard line.
I believe that was John Willis, Ralph, and unfortunately, as you mentioned, he did not handle that situation very well. So Inglewood goes on offense. This is a quick hitter up the middle. I believe that was Lindsay Taylor, number 4, the ball carrier.
It was Rousseau. Pickup of about 1. It'll bring up second, or no, call it 3. Make it 2nd and 7 for the Sentinels. 9:10 remaining in the half.
Well, this is where they've got to be very careful with the ball. They can't afford to turn it over here, or this Samo team is right back in the ball game with the lead.
They come with a wishbone. Benjamin now, I believe, is in the backfield. They're going to throw. He's got Hobson open. It's come. Oh, and it goes through his hands. He had Hobson out here in the flats, but he couldn't come up with it. There you see number 3, Derek Hobson, who was really just happy to be on the football field after 2-week probation due to academics.
A good call by Coach Echols, and Trawick right there with the pass. Just couldn't get the reception by Hobson, and I'm sorry. I'm sure he's feeling pretty sorry about that.
3rd and 7 now. 8:50 remaining in the half. Hobson splits right with Lindsay Taylor, the slot man, on a passing situation. They're going to throw it. No, Trawick's going to keep it. He breaks the tackle. He's got some room to the outside. He cuts back in. He's got a first down, I believe. Yes, he's across the 20-yard line. And a big play for Tinsley Trawick and the Sentinels.
Well, Trawick really shows his field generalship there as he gets a big hug from Coach Echols. He's a smart kid. He's getting smarter as the season goes along at that quarterback position. I somewhat questioned Coach Echols' desire and putting Trawick at the quarterback position at the beginning of the season after Taylor had did it all last year, but it's starting to prove out for the Sentinels.
Here they come. That's Benjamin in motion. They give it to the middle. That's Rousseau. He's hit but not wrapped up and still on his feet and finally dragged down.
Rousseau is a tough cookie. I like the way he runs. And we've noticed that it takes more than one hitter or one tackler to knock him down.
Well, they came in and someone came off the weak side and gave him a shot, and they were lucky in his wake to grab onto an ankle, although he might still be running.
Well, indeed, he's made in the mold of a fullback. Nice low center gravity to the ground, and he's a hard runner.
2nd and 2 now. Look for Rousseau up the middle. That's Benjamin. They give it no option. Trawick kicks it out to Benjamin. He's got some room to the outside, and he's got a first down and all the way up close to the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Sentinels at about at the 38. Nice job on the option there by Tinsley Trawick, something we said that he has not been doing enough all season. That's kicking it out to the option man.
That was an excellent call by Coach Echols. He has really impressed me this evening, as that was the wide receiver on the far side of the field who had reversed around to take that pitch out from Trawick. Good call, outstanding execution, big first down, Sentinels.
The Vikings will take a timeout. As you see, Coach Echols helps one of his players get redressed. I believe that is Valonzio King, the center. They're taking a little water. 7:33 remaining here in the first half. The Vikings lead 7-6 on a failed 2-point conversion by the Sentinels. And you touched on it, Renard. Very impressed with Coach Echols' play calling as well as the different looks that he's been giving the Vikings. They've been coming out with different formations all evening long, and they go with a wishbone, they go with a lone setback. Sometimes they'll split out in a slot right. They continue to give the Vikings something different to look at on each down situation. Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining. The Sentinels only 1.
This has been a good ball game.
Oh, yeah. Here come the Sentinels. 1st and 10 at about the 39-yard line. They come with the wishbone look this time. They give it to Benjamin off the right side. He picks up about 1.
Like number 22, Chris Rogers, and number 34, Travis Cravens in on the tackle for Sam Monica. But not before he was able to pick up a good couple. At least we'll give him 1.5 yards, maybe 2 on that carry.
I love passing out of that wishbone. Trawick does an outstanding job with the play fake, and they'll bite on that. If they go with that little play fake, they've run it before. I think they went with the play fake on the touchdown pass to Hobson.
Indeed they did. Let's see what they come out with here in the wishbone.
On 2nd and 9, right at the 7-minute mark, a reverse pivot from Trawick. He gives it up the middle, nothing there. Very close to the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Passing situation for Inglewood.
I believe getting up off of the bottom of that pile is going to be number 4, Lindsay Taylor. As they may have held him to 1 yard, so that's going to bring up a big 3rd and 7, Ralph. What do you call here?
Well, I like coming out of that bone and a little play fake and hitting somebody out in the fan. Hobson is there, and you might even want to roll the dice. I'm a possession coach, so I try to get the first down, but you've got Hobson over here, single coverage. You might even go to him long. I don't think the safety can get there. They're going with the pop, and again, Taylor is not there. You know, and I say again, because we've seen that pattern before where they try to go to Lindsay Taylor on the quick pop. The ball is thrown, and he's still running, not even looking for the football.
We've seen that week after week, and I'm sure they're expecting for him to maybe take another step, or at least Taylor is expecting for him to take another step. But Trawick and Lindsay Taylor have not hooked up on that pass all year long.
Well, maybe in this I'm guessing, and there is a penalty. It's going to be a legal motion against the Sentinels, and it will be declined. It'll bring up a 4th down and possible punting situation for Inglewood. But I'm guessing maybe that Tinsley is calling an audible and checking off at the line of scrimmage, and Lindsay's not picking it up, because I'm shocked to not see them hook up, because he's obviously throwing to the quick pop, and Lindsay's not even there.
You may be right on that, Ralph. We'll have to try to see if we can catch up with Trawick or Taylor and ask them about that confusion.
Hobson will try to punt it away for the Sentinels. Rashad Ivy is back deep, and he popped it up. It will barely get into the territory. No, now it'll take a bounce back, and they're not going to down it. They're letting it come back, and it barely remains in Viking territory. They'll take over there with outstanding field position at about the 49-yard line, 6:02 remaining in the half.
Coach Echols may decide to go for those 4th downs from now on and just launch a long pass downfield in hopes that one of the Santa Monica kids intercepts it and get better results. That kicking game is the Sentinels is something left to be desired.
And you see the importance of a decent kicking game. You don't have to be that proficient, but you've got to be able to get the ball out of your zone on a 4th down situation. Here come the Vikings. They take over almost in their own, just barely in their own territory. Kennedy's got a man. It's complete. That's the coach's son, Tim Kusero. Very close to the sticks. I believe he got a 1st down. He is in Sentinel territory.
I am impressed with these quarterbacks and the way they're throwing this ball tonight. Another good pass there by Larry Kennedy. As you mentioned, Caruso was right there to grab it, and it was right on the line. And I thought maybe he may have gone out of bounds before he got that ball, but I'm sure being the coach's son, he knows how to put those toes down on the white stripes.
He's a good receiver. He's not a big kid. You see him there at the right hand of your screen. Just now he takes reverse. Not a big kid, but he's obviously got good hands, and he must be fundamentally sound coming from the Kusero family. The Vikings did pick up the 1st down. They come back out of the eye. They give it to the 2nd man. I believe that is Rashad Ivy, and he picks up about 5-6 yards, and the Vikings starting to put some offensive threat together here.
John Willis there with a tackle, but not before the runner had picked up big yardage. And indeed, it was a good tackle in the open field there by John Willis.
Coach Kusero was telling us this during the pregame. They do not have 1 star, and they do not have one true back. Rashad Ivy checks in. Sean Smith is now in the ball game. On the option, Kennedy to Smith. He's on the outside. He's got a first down and more. And he is all the way down inside the 15. There is a flag, however, down on the play. That might go against the Vikings. We'll wait and see.
Well, finally, we have been hearing a lot about this kid, Sean Smith, the first time for him to really break into the open daylight, as he had defenders hanging on to him, and as he drug them inside the 15-yard line. It's going to come back against Santa Monica, and that's going to be a big penalty. And that's going to hurt this drive that this team has put on. And the penalty is blocking below the knee, looks like. So a crucial penalty for this Santa Monica team as the ball is going to come out all the way to the 50-yard line. My goodness, I'm sure Coach Caruso has got to be livid with that now after an outstanding run by Sean Smith. That's going to bring up about 2nd and 20.
Indeed, from the 45-yard line, a huge penalty. They've killed the Vikings all night, penalties have. On 2nd down.
And there's a trick play.
6, DeMarco Scott, and he's down back to the 10-yard line. So quickly, the Vikings strike, and Renard, I've got to be honest, I never saw the play.
Well, that's what I said. It was a trick play. Coach Caruso, we asked him if he had any tricks up his bag, and he said, no, we're a basic, fundamental, sound team that just likes to, you know, pound it down the field. But indeed, as Ralph, I'll have to look at the replay to see exactly what happened, but I believe the ball was snapped to number 6. That's DeMarco Scott, who raced down that right side to pick up the first down.
There you see Derek Hobson coming out of the ball game. That was an official's timeout for Hobson, who was a bit shaken up on the play. 4:41 remaining. The Vikings threatening. They lead 7-6 here in the closing minutes of the first half here in the first Bay League game here at the Stadium of the Stars for both ball clubs. And as we mentioned, Bay League action is going to be very competitive this year. The Vikings, along with the Sentinels, are going to have a tough road to hoe with some of the more talented ball clubs in the Division 7 league in the Bay Area. On 1st and 10, the Vikings out of the I. First man through, picks up about 4 or 5 on the play. I believe that's DeMarco Scott once again.
Jerome Hardin, number 73, as well as number 50, Leon Brown, and number 70 have been in on tackles all night, Alvin Garrett.
And there you see 2 fine educators. On the left, patting the young man on the butt, is Superintendent George McKenna.
And on the right,
Kenneth Crowe,
the new principal at
sir.
Inglewood. Fine man.
On 2nd down, it's up the middle again. Vikings trying to bang away. Again, that was DeMarco Scott.
The Sentinels need a big defensive stand here. They can ill afford to go into the locker room not only down by 1, but to think if they go in now, they'll be going in by as many as, what is that? My mathematician here tells me, what is that?
Could be 8, Coach.
Could be as much as 8, and that would
or
be
9.
Really detrimental to them. That would cause them to have to score twice, and that's what would hurt this Inglewood team.
3:46 remaining. Again, up the middle. They're trying to bang away, but they did not get the first down. And 3 consecutive running plays up the middle. All to DeMarco Scott. No, this time I believe. Oh, it looked like it was DeMarco Scott, but again, I've got to question those play calls.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it might be that Coach Caruso is trying to take some of this time off of the clock as he is pounding it into the end zone. We've got a timeout here.
The Vikings will take the second of their 3 timeouts. Both teams now down to only 1 timeout remaining. 3:21 remaining here in the first half. Stay with us at halftime. We've got a presentation from some of the Inglewood School District officials to Dr. Stevenson. So be with us at the halftime, and I'm going to try to scurry down to the field and have a few words with Superintendent George McKenna as well. There you see Coach
Yeah, I was just about to say Coach Echols there talking to his guys, and if we could get a shot of the other side or the other huddle,
Coach Caruso is out there conferring with the referees, and he's a little concerned, I'm sure, with something down there. As you see, he's talking to the head linesman. And now our referee tonight, James Joseph. And now the referees are conferring, but there's a good shot of, that's Coach, I believe that's Coach Eric Johnson, the linebacker and coach for Inglewood. And he's really proud of his defense, and you can very well tell he's got some good ones. Chris Morganfield, Kenyon Wilson, Leon Brown, outstanding group of kids.
4th and 2. This is a big play now for the Sentinels and the Vikings.
I think it's a little bit bigger for Santa Monica. Momentum at this point. They need to get it back on their side.
They come out of the I. That's Sean Smith at the tailback spot. They're going to throw for it. Good coverage. I don't think he got it. The ball was complete, but no, he's short. It'll be a first down for the Sentinels. Well, no, let's wait. He can still pick up the first down. So he might have picked up. You see the chains there, how close the difference is. Nice shot, guys. You see how close the chain is to the goal line. The pass was complete in the flats.
And you can tell Tim Caruso, the ball catcher, right there with it, trying to show the referees where he put his foot down. They're not buying it. They're saying this is where we're marking it. Let's see. The measurement's going to be close, Ralph.
And you can tell Crucero is a true coach's son. He's right in there saying, no, wait a minute.
He got
it apparently. As you see, he's very happy. So it'll be a first and goal from inside the 1 for the Vikings.
Well, the coach's son knew where he needed to go to, didn't he?
Well, it's tough to go back to Dad and tell him, well, I didn't run the route long enough to get the first, Dad.
Oh, I'm sure that would have been a long story. He couldn't have told right.
But he did by inches. It'll be first and goal from there. 3:15 remaining. Very tough defensive assignment for the Sentinels.
They're going to have to really lock in here now.
Look for Kennedy. Oh, there's some movement, and they're going to call it. Well, now that puts a different light on the situation. The illegal procedure will make it first and goal all the way back from just outside the 5-yard line.
Well, you know, we've been talking about this Inglewood team shooting themselves in the foot all year long. And Santa Monica is self-destructing in a golden opportunity time.
All the penalties thus far, I do believe, have gone against the Vikings. And Josh Hernandez, our stat man, is out ill this week, so we'll have to wait at half for our statistics.
And we'll like to tell hope he gets to feeling well real soon.
Just didn't want him out here in this cold night air. So the Vikings will take their final timeout of the night with...
And you can tell by the march that Coach Caruso has in his stride coming out. He's not in the least bit happy.
No, he's not. Last timeout of the half, I should have said. They lead through the Vikings 7-6. Here as in the waning moments of what has been a very elongated first half. 3:15 remaining.
It has been a long first half, but as we mentioned, I think a lot of it is contributed to the fact that both teams have been putting the ball up in the air, and especially Inglewood, which is something that we're not accustomed to.
Yeah.
They have not been putting the ball up, but Trawick has in weeks past shown that he can put it up, and he's been getting consistency out of his arm, and no doubt Coach Echols has given him the chance and the opportunity tonight to do it, and he's done it quite well. One TD pass already, and he's got to feel good about his chances of throwing the ball tonight.
3:15 remaining.
Still first down.
Still first down. But new light for the defensive squad of the Sentinels as their backs are moved a little bit further away from the wall as the ball will be placed just outside the 5-yard line. Up the middle, that is Smith. He is met there, however, by a host of Sentinels.
That looks like number 58, Harumbi Farrell, in there to one of the tackles.
Brings up a 2nd and 3 now. Clock is still moving. Remember, the Vikings are out of timeouts, and the Sentinels have but one. We're inside of 3 minutes. 2:52 and counting.
Well, as I mentioned, momentum has a big chance here to swing back to this Santa Monica team just before halftime. but they are not taking advantage of it thus far. This is a big play as well as the next couple.
2nd and 3 now, again out of the eye. That is DeMarco Scott in motion, and that's Kennedy, but he's going to be short. They cannot get a first down, so that brings up 3rd and goal from about the 2.
And I believe that was James Allen down there around his ankles to grab him and keep him from advancing, and he may be shaken up a little bit. No, he's going to be okay, looks like. And again, Kenyon Wilson down there on the bottom of that pile, too.
Play calling has been very conservative by Coach Couthereau. Right at the 2-minute mark, there is no 2-minute warning in high school ball. They go with almost a passing mode. Couthereau split left with Philip Giad in the slot. They go with a slant left, but it's still not there. Oh no, they're going to say he got in. Touchdown for the Vikings.
Yeah, I saw Kennedy as he just ducked off of left tackle and just fell on the ground, and there was no one there as far as an outside linebacker to prevent it. And he just kind of snuck in and got him a touchdown there.
Nice job by Larry Kennedy. So the drive finally culminates with the touchdown. With 1:44 remaining, Sheldon Philip Giad into the ballgame now for the extra point.
This is a big point.
King is up, and it is perfect.
Now, Inglewood has to score twice. That was a big point.
Well, they can score once and get the 2-point conversion to tie, but you're right, to win the ball game, they've got to at least cross that goal one way or the other twice. And that may come back to haunt Coach Echols, who early in the first period, after an early touchdown, decided to go for the 2-point conversion instead of the 1-point kick. And however, again, he's got a very suspect kicking game, and that might have weighed in on his decision.
Well, it just puts a little more pressure on your offense to score a little bit more.
Jonathan Rousseau, along with James Allen, are back deep for the Sentinels.
That sounds like a good combination.
Oh, yeah. 1:46 remaining. My only worry is you only have one timeout, and you took one on a 3rd down defensive situation early in the ball game. Boy, I'd love to be with 1:46 remaining with 2 timeouts in my hip pocket, and you're right, possibly 3.
Well, let's see if Allen and Rousseau can give them good field position here anyway.
Trailing by 8, it's a line drive that Allen will field over his head, but he catches it at the 5. He's to the 10, makes contact at the 15 and lunges forward across the 20 and up to about the 23-yard line.
Rashad Ivey on the tackle, but I think Ivey realized he really didn't get a good clean piece of him, and I think if Allen had been able to keep his feet under him, he would have been able to go a little bit further indeed.
1:37 remaining in the half, and the clock is running, and there are only one timeout for the Sentinels. Again, we'll stay with us at the half when a presentation to Dr. Stevens is presented by Inglewood school officials.
Got to air it out here, Ralph. Been throwing it all night. Why not?
And they do. The quick pop to Taylor. It's thrown poorly, and he is rattled there by number 22. That's Chris Rogers applying the hit. But I'll tell you, Lindsay Taylor, that pattern is just not working for some reason or another. It's just not crisp. It's got to be a very quick pattern. The ball is either overthrown or it's thrown too late, and I think that was the case there.
Indeed, I think Coach Echols is going to have to go back to his playbook and come out with something else, so they're going to have to work on that a little bit more.
1:21, the clock has stopped. They're in a slot right with Rousseau in the backfield. They're passing. Trawick's got some time. He's got a man open, but he threw it a bit short, intended for number 3. That's Derek Hobson. Bring up a 3rd and 10. 1:16 remaining in the half.
That was a poorly thrown pass by Trawick, probably the worst we've seen him throw in a while. And indeed, he wasn't that heavily pressured. He could have had time to still set up and throw that ball. It would have been a nice pickup. And at this point, they just need to get some yardage to try to get down the field.
Because now you're faced with a situation that had the Vikings had a timeout, they'd be thinking about scoring once again. Over a minute remaining, 1:16 in the half. Trawick back to pass. He's got a man open. It's complete. That's Taylor, dragged down from behind, but it will be enough for the first down. He's across the 36. The clock has stopped, and there is a flag down, and we'll wait. It is in the Sentinel backfield, and we'll wait to see. It'll be a holding against the Sentinels, so that wipes off the completion to Taylor. And
That's too bad.
takes 8 seconds off the clock for Inglewood.
That's really too bad. Nice play by Trawick as he stayed in the pocket. I like the way he stood in there for a change and waited for Taylor to uncover in the secondary and found him across the middle. Nice pass. Just too bad on the holding penalty.
Well, I think that's the key, and you hit it right on the head there, Renard, to any passing situation. You've got to allow the man to run the pattern, and if given enough time, they will get loose. They're playing almost a man-to-man coverage. Now they've fallen back into a zone, but they are susceptible over the middle. 3rd and 20, and they're going to keep the ball on the ground. And with 48 seconds remaining, Coach Kusaro has got to be upset that he's out of timeouts, or else he would have a grand opportunity to get down and score once again. The clock is running. He can't stop it, and Coach Echols, with only his one timeout, certainly doesn't want to do so.
Well, I think if I were Coach Echols at this point, I would run another offensive play. I would not give this ball back to him with 30 seconds, or I let this clock tick as far as I possibly can. Maybe pick up a penalty and then run it again.
Yeah, exactly.
They still can't stop the ball.
Exactly. I don't know if I would run the play, but take the penalty, which they apparently are, and let it run out. And Coach Kusaro, I tell you, has got to be kicking himself, because with the kicking game of the Sentinels, you would at least like to want an opportunity to try to block the kick. And apparently they will have that opportunity with 6 seconds remaining. But you're right, Renard. Despite the fact that you're deep in your own zone, as opposed to kicking this thing away, you might be better off taking a knee and hoping that the clock will, well, I believe the clock does stop,
Well, I'd run to the sideline or something. You need to get out there and run it. Now, kick the ball away would be a bad move, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's I'd rather roll the dice hoping the Trawick can stall for 6 seconds and hoping that they can get away a punt. And in fact, that's exactly what they'll do. So you just got to hope that the clock does not stop before 6 seconds, or the Vikings will have one last shot at it.
Start running as soon. Oh, we got a motion.
And now we got a motion penalty that'll stop the clock with 5. Jason Butler coming into the ball game now for Michael Benjamin. This is a big play here.
It really is. The Sentinels are looking like they just might self-destruct here with only 5 seconds or 5 ticks left on the clock.
Once again, we want to remind you to stay with us right before we cut away. We've got a presentation of Dr. Stevens from Inglewood High School officials. And then hopefully I can scurry down and have a word with Superintendent George McKenna. The officials are trying to indicate that they need 1 more second on the clock. The illegal procedure penalty negates the play, so the second that came off should be returned. So officially there are 6 seconds remaining, and now you're closer in your own zone. They give it now as a fumble, but they can't stop it. But a change of possession will give them one last opportunity with 3 seconds remaining. And God, just what we said might happen has occurred, and I can't believe it.
I tell you, Coach Echols has got to be beside himself, and this Santa Monica team, they're going to get a chance to kick in. We're bringing on the kicker for a chance to get a quick 3 here.
Philip Giad will come in. The ball will be placed to the 10. It'll make it a 20-yard chip shot. I saw this youngster. He can make. No, they're going to take it. They're going for it. He's got a man wide open. It is a touchdown for the Vikings.
And that was his son that threw that ball. That was, my goodness. And after the coach had told us that he had no trick plays, we've seen 2 here in the first half. Well, a good call by Coach Caruso from Santa Monica as he caught the Sentinels napping.
With no time on the clock, the Vikings will nonetheless have an opportunity to kick the extra point, and I agree, that's a great call by Coach Kusaro, Teb Kusaro. Philip Giad, the man who came in for the fake, is on for the extra point. His line drive would have been no good, but there is a penalty on the play. Boy, and we hate to lay it out like we did, but it happened just as we dreamt it wouldn't. And you've got to make sure that you don't hand the ball off and give it away, because the change of possession stops the clock, and they'd have one last opportunity. And they took advantage of it. They came in immediately, and there was no hesitation on the part of the Vikings. They came in with the fake field goal.
And the penalty will give them another chance to kick it again. And indeed, the offsides against Inglewood is going to give them a chance to put that point back on the board. My goodness, has lightning struck here or what?
Suddenly, a very close ball game has turned into a 20-6 halftime lead for the Vikings. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So Sheldon Phillip Giad comes in for the Vikings after a pass from the coach's son, Tim Kusero. Connects with no time left on the clock as the Sentinels literally self-destruct like an Alka-Seltzer tablet here with seconds remaining. It's halftime at the Stadium of the Stars, and we want to remind you that tonight's ball game is brought to you by the good people at Quick and Split, where you will find freshness you can see and quality you can taste. We're going to break away, but before we do, I believe we're going to go down to the field for a presentation with some Inglewood High School officials to Dr. Stevens. All right, so we're going to cut away before the presentation and come right back. It's halftime at the Stadium of the Stars, 21-6. The Sentinels trail. We'll be right back after this commercial message here on KICT Channel 30, your station for community television here in Inglewood.
Maybe someone's trying to tell you something.
She flew at speeds in excess of 2,200 miles per hour, cruised at an altitude of 13 miles. They called her the SR-71, Blackbird. She set records for speed and altitude that stand even today. But there's a world where that's not good enough anymore. A world where the boundaries of technology and imagination are forever being stretched. The world of the United States Air Force. A world where her successors will fly on the rim of space at speeds more hypersonic than supersonic. So if you're looking for a career in tomorrow's higher technology, come to a place where the sky's no longer the limit. Aim high, Air Force.
On behalf of the faculty, staff, and student body of Inglewood High School, I would like to present Dr. Stevenson with a token of our appreciation for his efforts in coming out on Friday evening and supporting our athletic program and the students at Inglewood High School. Inglewood High School and the Inglewood Unified School District are pleased to present to you this token of our appreciation.
Well, I'd like to say I do appreciate it very much, and it's a lot of fun being out here tonight and being with these two gentlemen that I'm getting to know a lot better, and I look forward to working with you more in the future. I'd like to speak more for some of my colleagues and for my hospital and for some of the parents who maybe couldn't make it here tonight, but especially for the ones that are here tonight. It's a lot of fun. We're all doing a good thing, and I want our team to win because this is my team now, my school too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to say as superintendent how much we appreciate not only Dr. Don Stevenson and his voluntary contribution, but also the support of Sentinel Hospital and the entire staff and the orthopedic department that Dr. Stevenson represents. We are very appreciative of this, and Mr. Crowe is doing a fine job here at the school, and with our doctor here doing a fine job at our games, we look for continued progress, and maybe this will bring us a little luck, Doc. And I really appreciate you being out here. Mr. Crowe, thank you.
Myself. All right.
Thanks to everybody.
That's all yours, man. Hey, this is first class. This is first class all the way. Yeah.
Hey, so how you doing?
How you been? How's the black?